My name is Officer Jim Barrett. I'm the Homeless Outreach Officer for the City of Hartford. As a combat veteran, I was a walk beat officer in the City of Hartford in downtown. And a homeless veteran came towards me like in January, February time frame, and he had a pair of flip-flops. And I looked down, his feet was all messed up. So as an NCO in the Army, I can't leave a fellow veteran behind enemy lines or here in the home front. So what I did is went out, purchased a pair of boots and some clothing, some socks, and some basic hygiene stuff to keep them going. And ever since then, opened my eyes of the policing that I knew changed. There's a lot of challenges that the homeless community is facing. A lot of it is resources, lack of resources, such as shelters. Shelters is huge. Resources and the waiting list of getting housing is huge. It's a public health issues because these guys are outdoors in different type of weather, and it's hard for them to use the bathroom. It's hard to take a shower. It's hard to find resources, especially if you don't know where the resources are. So it's definitely a challenge, and to get into the system, it's also a challenge because a lot of these guys don't have phones, or they have phones and their phones got stolen, or they lost their phones, or got damaged. Yes, we have different categories of homelessness. We have the career homeless that are actively working and they're among us and you have no idea that they're homeless. Then we have our substance users, then we have our mental health. Basically, once we get them into housing, we could try to get the wraparound services, and a lot of these guys who are hit hard times, they just need some stability to lay their head and feel safe. Bus passes are very crucial because transportation is huge. In recent times, we have a major increase of elderly housing crisis of these guys who are getting evicted for the first time. A lot of medical conditions. We have guys who are medically compromised that need transportation to their medical service, medical appointments, or we get guys who just got a job and they waiting on their first paycheck, so a bus pass could transport them to and from their jobs. So a lot of these guys, it's very common to see these guys travel over an hour and a half to and from work, without a bus pass in frigid temperatures or like extreme heat or whatever. So with a bus pass, they could just take their time going to work, to and from work, with no issues. With the women, homeless women, to me, if I give them a bus pass, at least they could feel safe, and they could just take a 2-hour trip around the city or around the state or whatever they need to do, so they could get a decent night's sleep. Because as a homeless woman, I'm worried more about them than the homeless males, because the women are more at risk. I want them to be more aware of their surroundings, of the homeless individuals. You guys are going to be experiencing a lot of guys panhandling off the off ramps and stuff like that. That's not how you donate. I know they're going to be carrying a sign. They're going to see a homeless veteran signs. Most veterans who has a homeless sign are not veterans. They're fakes. They're not real. They just want to tug on your heartstrings. So when you go on, if you see these guys on the off ramps, do not give money, give food, give water. If you want to buy them something, great. But majority of them are substance users. You don't want to add to the fuel of the fire of giving them money so they could go to the drug dealer to get their drugs. So I just wanted to bring more awareness of do it the right way. Donate to a nonprofit organization, if you're willing to, if you want to give back. Do not give cash to a homeless individual at all, because they know how to tug on a heartstring of they know that you have a good heart, and these guys are in survival mode, and they're gonna tug, and the hardest word you're gonna say is no. So please do not give cash to homeless individuals when you see them off anywhere throughout the state. Any off ramps, do not give cash.